Hello, I'm Eric Snodgrass, and thank you for watching today's midday weather outlook for the southern region, brought to you by Nutrien Ag Solutions. We begin again with a map that shows the last 72 hours of total accumulated precipitation here, and we want to just focus on a couple of things here that I didn't really cover in great detail in the weather video that we released, our national video that comes out on early Monday morning. First thing I want to do is I just want to show you we can see how the end of the weekend's heavy rainfall in parts of the southeast here really just in some locations have produced some catastrophic flooding. You can see some of these amounts again between 6 and 10 inches of rain. And some of the problems that we've been having over here is that this particular region had been very, very dry. So some of that water, when it hit that pan-hard soil, had to run off before doing anything else. Plus you add in the elevation effects of the Appalachian Mountains and you produce a flash flooding event. Now I want to show you what this did to soil moisture, because we've been talking quite a bit about what's been going on right in this quarter, right in through here, getting down into Florida as well, where because of that monstrous ridge, remember this whole flow pattern, that monstrous ridge that set over the southeast, we saw the soil moisture really deplete very, very quickly here. So I'm going to take my drawings off and I'm going to show you the improvement. This is the latest 1 meter, so this is the top 3 feet of the soil moisture profile here, looking at percent of normal. This is what it looks like now. This is what it looked like before all this got going. So you can see we made a pretty remarkable recovery in some locations here, albeit done in about 3 days' time, but still it was incredible to see some of that improvement. We still have a long ways to go. Again, here's our current picture. Here's where we were just a week ago right now. So making some headway on the deficits in soil moisture. We're going to talk in a few minutes about where we're going with this over the coming days, because we've got some more moisture that's coming in. I want to also take you back to this map and again show you there was an incredible complex of storms that migrated from the north toward the south down toward Dallas. And again, I didn't get enough time to cover this in my national video, but I want to show you just from GO-16. That's our high resolution geostationary satellite, the storm that went right over the top of Dallas, causing all of those problems. You've seen the hail damage, you've seen the winds. From an atmospheric scientist perspective, do you see how the top of this is bubbling? It looks like it's just boiling here. That's the main updraft of this huge thunderstorm complex, sending its energy actually clear into the stratosphere. A lot of times when these storms have this strong of updrafts, we can get the updraft to briefly penetrate into the very stable stratosphere, and we call these overshooting tops, and it's an indicator that the storm underneath it is exceptionally powerful. So those were the ones causing so much trouble there in through parts of Kansas, Oklahoma, and then into Texas here. I also just want to let you know, I'm doing my videos today from St. Louis. I'm here for a conference, and I got some chance to go out and take a look at the Mississippi River. I tweeted out yesterday, the last time I saw the river like this, it was 1993, and I was 13 years old sandbagging on this river. There's a road actually that runs right through here, and you can see that the water here has made it, I heard a guy tell me the other day that made it 2/3 of the way up the steps when it reached its crest on Sunday, the steps to the arch here. Normally the river is way out here. That's its normal boundary, but you can see how bad things are. Why I bring this up is because this has to get south still. So if you live along the Mississippi here and you are in the southern region, I mean, this water still has to get to you. So we're going to continue to see this flood map here by AHPS and the USGS continue to look like this for some time. So New Orleans, it is coming. All right. The bigger problem with that is that over the next 9 days, we are adding. There's a corridor right in through here where we're going to be adding quite a bit more precipitation. There's good multi-model support on this, which means we're going to be raining here on where the kind of mid-Mississippi River Valley meets the lower Mississippi River Valley into the Delta, and also where the Ohio River comes in and joins this. So there's the potential for multiple rounds of storms into this area, adding to this problem. Now, while this is going on, it's going to be very interesting to watch. I'll show you the flow pattern in a moment. What will be happening along the very southern part of the southern region? So I'm talking about Gulf Coast, talking about Texas, New Mexico, getting all the way over to the southeast. How were we, how will the precipitation pattern set up like that as we kind of watch this deeper trough developing over the Great Lakes here with time? So those will be some of the main things I'm going to focus on here. Certainly with that trough developing the next 5 days, that's the map that's over here on the left, is going to favor some pretty extreme heat out west, where we might be breaking some all-time records, but here across basically the eastern part of the southern region, we're going to be seeing below average temperatures, which is going to feel amazing, but at the same time, these below average temperatures with some wetter conditions are not giving our crops the best chance at get going, especially right in through this corridor, the northern part of the southern region. Once we get into days 6 through 10, that's the map that's over here on the right, we do start to see some moderation as the upper level trough tends to sit here, more in the north central plains, and as a consequence of that, it's going to focus a whole lot more of our attention here in the Corn Belt, allowing for some drying and some warming down here along the Gulf Coast. So we'll take a look at that in just a few seconds. The pattern, let me just play it out for you here. What we're watching here is troughs and ridges. So the blues are the troughs and the reds are the ridges. And you can see that through mid-June, really through about the 23rd, 24th of June, we kind of get ourselves into a pattern that looks just something like, like this, where there's a ridge out west and a trough somewhere in and around the Great Lakes states. So this is June 16th. You'll see here as I progress through this why that at least the next 5 days and then beyond are looking to be moderate in terms of temperatures. That's because overall we have troughing in the midsection of the country. Remember when we were setting those temperature records, we had one of these, a huge ridge that sat over the southeast, and we've just broken that pattern down, and now the west, which had been very, very cold, is now the part of the country that is scorched. This is by the time we get to June 20th. You can see here the main trough is sitting in the north central plains. So I expect a recovery in temperatures down here along the Gulf Coast because of that, and more focus put on the Corn Belt with the adverse weather. But as we progress forward in this pattern, I want to show you where we get by the time we get to the 4th week of June. The models have been hinting at this flow pattern, which is going to feature this trough that's kind of sitting here south of the Aleutian Islands, a ridge in the Gulf of Alaska, and another trough that's trying to set itself up along the western part of the United States. The question will be, as we get toward the end of June here, do we expect this ridge to set up somewhere in the central United States, or will it be more over the southeast? As we watch this, we're going to pay careful attention to the model trend to see what to expect there, because this could, if it does set up in the southeast, bring us back into a hotter, drier time period. But there's a lot of uncertainty. And the farther back this particular trough goes, the more that heat goes into the central plains rather than the southeast. So we'll have to be answering those questions with time here. In terms of severe weather, if we get into the more detailed forecast here, we're looking at on the day on Tuesday, a couple of areas I'll be watching. One will be down here for some stronger thunderstorms, and then you'll see in this high resolution animation I'll show you in a minute, there's a boundary sneaking through the mid part of the country here on which in parts of Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas we could see some strong to severe storms. When you get into the day on Wednesday, that's the map that's over here on the right, you can see there are pockets of where we may potentially be seeing some stronger thunderstorms there in each one of those labeled marginal. But outside of that, no major organized severe weather events. So let's kind of take a look at this. This is the high resolution rapid refresh model. Takes you out to midday on Wednesday. So starts Tuesday morning at 6 a.m. and takes you out to Wednesday in the middle of the afternoon. First of all, you can see the thunderstorm complexes that are showing up here in the afternoon and evening hours and overnight hours getting into Wednesday across the southeast. We're going to be adding more rainfall to this particular area, and it's good. We do need it, although we've had so much recently that it's going to be a problem. But I'm thinking more about that soil moisture profile as I see that precip. You can also see the front kind of shown here in the precipitation animation where it slides through the central part of the United States, and it'll be along that front that we could potentially be kicking off those more dangerous showers and thunderstorms. The severe threat is highest in through that area. But that's just getting us again through the mid part of the week, and you can just see the flow pattern. Do you see how all of this is coming out of the north and northwest? That is that cooler air that is in place in this area. Now let's switch over to the European model here so we can go out about 10 days. First system is exiting here, so we're going to watch again just clusters of showers and storms build here, and then you'll see on the back side of this high the cooler air that's coming in as this next low pressure system sneaks through the Corn Belt. So we get it going right there. I'm just going to take you back, show you some of the details. Ready? So this is Tuesday afternoon, getting into Tuesday evening and Wednesday morning. So again, we're watching the complex of storms here, northeast, big high pressure cell, low moving through it's kind of Illinois, Wisconsin, Iowa. That'll be the place on which that front sneaks through parts of Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, bringing in some showers and storms. But as we progress toward the end of the week, you can see things overall across the Gulf Coast here drying out. Big area of higher atmospheric pressure sinks in, and again, that's helping things stay on the cool side but also on the dry side. As it gets you into Early Friday morning, which is right here, high pressure moves over toward the southeast, giving them a break from the rainfall that they've had, well, will have had over the last week at this point. And that sets up there and slowly moves as we begin our weekend just off of the East Coast. So this is Friday night, getting into Saturday morning. At that point, another system sneaks through the Corn Belt. But at this moment, what we do see here is we see that the high pressure center is really going to set itself up way out here out in the open Atlantic. And at this point, remember I told you that little trough was coming through here? So what I'm going to be watching is this kind of feed of moisture. And when we get this feed of moisture coming up out of the Gulf like this particular area might show up dry on our forecast models, but it's going to have a whole lot of just daily convection, just thunderstorms. That's just the normal pattern of things. So as I progress forward, you don't see much in the way of big organized systems coming through. It tends to stay north of that circle I just made. See that? That's why this area is going to get all the rain. But remember, the moisture feed has to come through the Gulf there first. And so that's why we're going to see that area showing up as drier, but it doesn't mean no storms, okay? So you see that much of the actions to the north, and we just get these complexes of thunderstorms that will move through the southern part of the southern region. So let me just put all this together for you because it's kind of a complicated picture. I have the next 10 days by the European model on the left. These are the operational runs that came out early this morning. And then I have the GFS on the right. You can see that in both, they kind of have a place down there across the, along the Gulf Coast where you don't see the heavier rainfall amounts. All the heavier rain is here, like we saw earlier in the video. But remember, we will see quite a bit of thunderstorm activity in that kind of southern oval that I drew there. But over the next 10 days or so, the models are painting a pretty clear picture that parts of the Mid-South, getting up to the Ohio River Valley, parts of Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, and right there on that Mississippi River, we are bringing in more rain. So this flooding problem is nowhere close to being done here, all right? To finish this up, I'm going to show you two last slides here. First, I want to just give you the next 15 days looking at precipitation anomalies. What we've seen is we've continued to see the GFS really honing in on this drier pattern. The European model recently has kind of gone over to it as well, so that's been an interesting kind of play. But you can see here the main region that is going to be much wetter than average in the southern region. Lastly, I just want to give you a hint at some of the stuff we'll be talking about in tomorrow's long-range video. Take you all the way to July the 4th. Why not? This 4th of July weather here. We are seeing the models advertising, again, some split flow out west. But you see right in through there, there's a region where even though the flow is like this, we are seeing higher than average heights. And the question will be, what does that do to temperatures across parts of the southeast? And what does that do for precipitation into this area as well? Because we are certainly watching this carefully in the Corn Belt here, where we're having so much problems with too much rain and windows that show up and then disappear for getting field work done. Okay, that was kind of a lot to cover there, but I wanted to give you everything we got going on right now, and also tell you one last thing real quick. No major tropical activity right now in the forecast, okay? So we'll stop it right there. We at Nutrien Ag Solutions want to thank you for your attention. Hope you look forward to all of our forecast videos coming out this week. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.